Everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on some crown molding, and I'm going to show you how to coat the molding so that you don't have to worry if the walls are out of plumb or if the ceilings are out. We're going to coat the corners to make a perfect fit. I'll show you how I get the measurements and how I coat it, and also the jig I made for the coping, which is just a simple jig right here with some adjusting knobs and some tracks. Alright, so let's get started making the cuts. Okay, so this is the kitchen. I removed the crown already from where I'm going to be installing the new crown. And what I like to do when I'm coping is, or any crown molding for that, is look for an outside corner first. The reason I like that is because I like to cope, and most people do, especially if you're right-handed, plus you're cutting the crown upside down and then move it over and flip it right side up to make the cope, which I'll show you, I'll demonstrate. But I always like to cope from the right side coming into the left corner. So which means that an outside corner like this, I'll cut my normal outside 45, 44, 46, whatever degree that corner is, and I will measure that angle because it does make a difference. Then I'll make a straight run from there right into the corner, and that's going to be a straight butt cut right into the corner. So I'll cut an outside here, and then a butt cut into the corner, and then that will be an inside 45 cut, and then we'll cope it, and then when we slide it in to the butt cut, it's going to cover up that profile of the butt cut and take the whole shape of that inside corner. And you're going to see it doesn't really matter how bad the walls are out of plumb or how far out your ceiling is, because you'll be able to manipulate the crown to make that perfect profile. Alright, so we're going to get started cutting. Alright, I got the cutlass, so the first thing we're going to do is going to be the outside 45, and that's going to go to the inside butt cut. That's going to go into the corner. That's going to be 75 inches. So I have the crown set up, nested with the crown stops. The most important thing is you keep the back of the profile, which is going to be on the wall, keep that to the fence perfectly flush, because that's what's going to be sitting against the wall. That's the most important part. So I'm going to slide this down, and I'm making an outside 45. Close to the edge as possible so I don't waste any material. Then I'm going to slide it down and measure from the point of the inside out 75 inches, and that's going to be a straight butt cut. Okay, so now for the cope. We have to cut an inside corner, and then I have to measure from that to a butt cut, which is going to be 94 7/8. So first, I'll make the inside 45, and then I'll move it down and make the butt cut, and then we're going to cope this using the Collins coping foot. Okay, so now at this point, this is the profile that we want to remove with the jigsaw with the Collins coping foot on it. So you can shade it in if you wanted to see it a little better, but you want to cut this straight off, and this is going to be a straight cut off right here as well. You're going to come up the profile. I'm going to make a relief cut there, and maybe one right there. This way it's easier to transition and make that turn. And once you get rid of this profile, the Collins coping foot is made with 245 bevels on the side so that you can maneuver the jigsaw because you can't cut this profile straight. You need to be out of plumb, maybe about 10-12 degrees, and that's going to back cut it automatically, so that'll make it fit together perfectly. And then I don't really test fit these anymore, but once you make that cut, you can see that perfect profile. And now I don't have to worry if there's a variation when I put it on the wall for the ceiling, because I could just make it fit together any way I need to. Okay, so this is the best angle I can get you. I added a little light here because this corner's a little dark. When I put up the crown, the butt side that's going into the corner is just a little loose so that I can maneuver it back and forth. This is the cope side. All right, let's get up in there. All right, force your end in. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that this is up as best as possible, so I'm just going to take a little meter block and I'm just going to tap that into the corner. And you can see that raised it up a little bit. The ceiling is really out over here, but that's just a manipulation that I'll have to do. This is the piece that's coped, and you can see as that goes in here, I'm going to bring this up flush, and then you can see how that closes that gap. All right, go ahead and bend that towards me and pop it in place. All right, now you're flush. Okay. So now that's completely flush. What I can do is nail it up. This wall right here, I had a whole 16-foot length. I got about another 7 feet. This was anywhere between 23 and 24 feet. So we had to make a splice. So right here you can see where I made the splice 22.5 degrees. So now to put that together and make it stay before I nail it, I'm going to use a little bit of CA glue and some activator. So I'm going to use the CA glue on the side that I'm putting up, and then I'm going to use the activator on the inside piece. And once I put it together, it's going to be a permanent bond. Then I can hold them together for a couple of seconds and then nail it in place. Close it up. You only get a couple of seconds to really work with this. Spray the activator on the other side. And then pop it in. and that's it. You can see the splice turned out really nice, and then what you do is just a little bit of joint compound in there. There's no seam, but that will fill any little tiny gap, and then sand it all flush with a little 120 grit sandpaper, and then once you paint it up, done. You'll never see it again. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. Just a quick couple of key points I want to make is when you have the profile, after you cut your inside 45, you're going to turn it, you're cutting it upside down and backwards. You're going to flip it right side up when you cut the cope. So you're going to go from the miter saw here upside down, make your cut, then you're going to flip it into the jig or clamp it to a table, actually facing the way it's going to sit up on the wall, and then you're going to cut it with your jigsaw slightly at a plumb on 10 or 12 degree angle. And one of the biggest things is you're going to cut this bottom part off straight down. You're not going to leave a point here at the end because then the crown won't sit together. So you have to cut this straight off. Then you come in this way, and then you can cut your profile. This also at the top has to be cut straight. You're always going to measure from the point before you cut off your other side, because if you cut that first, like some people will cut it on the miter saw because they don't like to do it with the jigsaw because they don't think it comes out straight enough. If you do that and you're like me and you cut all your crown in one shot, what's going to happen is you'll just keep like a production line cutting and cutting and cutting, and you'll be measuring off of the straight point here. You'll be losing that half an inch or a quarter of an inch, whatever it may be, and then every piece of crown molding you have is going to be that half inch or quarter inch short, and then you're going to have a wasted room of crown molding. All right guys, so just don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me.